Hello and welcome to Emotional Alchemy with Leisse Wilcox. Emotional alchemy is what I use to describe the process of taking something very dark and heavy, a little bit scary, and making it bright, beautiful, and uniquely your own. There has never been a better time to learn how to practice emotional alchemy, and that's why I'm here to share this with you today. Today, we're going to talk about fear. Fear is a big one. Fear is a huge, huge feeling. You've probably heard me say before that our feelings are just feedback. And every time we have a feeling, it's giving us really valuable information and insights as to what still needs to be healed and what still needs our attention. So instead of shaming or burying or ignoring our feelings, we have a responsibility to ourselves and to our emotional awareness and to our heart, to our whole development as a human, to really get clear and in honoring those feelings. Some feelings are really light and airy. It's a great feeling to experience joy or happiness or harmony because it feels so light and so good. Some other emotions that you experience are a lot heavier. Fear, anger, jealousy, resentment, sadness, anguish. Those are all heavier feelings, and they're all actually rooted in fear, and they really weigh on our chest. So a lot of us are inclined to ignore those or, kind of choke them back and pretend they don't exist. Maybe we stay overly positive and we don't ever confront those feelings. It's really, really powerful to confront those feelings because they actually tell us what is going on inside of us that we don't necessarily even have conscious access to. Often when people have anxiety is just this dissonance between what we want and what we believe, or what we want to be true, what we believe to be true, and we get this friction happening. So you can't just ignore it and hope it'll go away. You actually have to address it at the core. Similarly, or I guess conversely, other times people decide to just dwell in that fear, and instead of ignoring it or just pushing it away, they just get submersed in it and they don't want to leave it. They just completely get wrapped up in their fear without ever addressing it, and that doesn't help either. So my purpose today here is to talk about fear in a really purposeful and forward-moving, inspired action kind of way to help you confront those feelings that you might be experiencing right now and do something with them so that you ultimately feel like you're yourself again. So, fear. Fear has a powerful purpose in our lives. Our subconscious mind, one of its functions is designed to sweep our environment and look for danger. We've had that ingrained into us since, the inception of our species, not just even our own cultural context, our own species. As humans, we are programmed from a subconscious level something you can't access consciously just by thinking about it. Subconsciously, we are trained to scan our environment and look for danger. And when our subconscious mind interprets danger or perceives danger, we get those horrible feelings. They tell us to, that's what triggers the fight, flight, or freeze response in us, right? And that's really good because it tells us to get out of there or just maybe play dead or, it inspires us to react in a certain way that ultimately protects us and keeps us safe. That's really, really good. Our subconscious mind, though, does not know the difference between a bear chasing us down and, fear of public speaking. Fear is fear is fear. And when we perceive it that way, we have to consciously learn to engage in a really healthy, appropriate response. You can't be as afraid of public speaking as you are afraid of a bear chasing you down. That doesn't serve you. It doesn't help you live in this world. It doesn't help you grow and learn as a person, right? Something else happens about fear, how do I say that? Fear serves this purpose to protect us. And in our current climate, I cannot speak today. In our current climate, in our current context, we are experiencing some pretty rapid change in our environment on a global level. My daughter helped me make this little chart, and this is so sweet. This is the 7-year-old version of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We all have needs that we attend to, or that we have to get met for us to feel really safe and secure. They start at the bottom of the pyramid, and as you can imagine, the bottom of the pyramid is so strong. It's foundational, right? And way deep down there are our physiological needs. Those are things like food, water, warmth, rest, shelter, all that good stuff. Then you move out. When that need has been met, or that need is fulfilled, you can move up the pyramid and you get into your needs for safety. So your physical safety, your security, that's all embedded here. These are foundational needs. These are like basic human needs. As we ascend the pyramid, we get to love and belonging, which is where we start to find our relationships, intimate partnerships, friendships. When our foundational needs are met, then we can start to look for those bonds, right? That feeling of our feeling of needing to belong, needing to feel loved. Then as we keep going up, we get to esteem. And esteem is that prestige or the feeling of accomplishment we feel. That's maybe when we're really killing it at work and our career. We really feel like we're accomplishing something. When this is all in place, we can fully show up in this place. And lastly, at the very top, we have the self-actualization. Self-actualization is like this full embodied achievement of really coming home to yourself. It's really living up to your full, engaged, like almost spiritual potential. We really start to be able to participate in bettering ourselves. But and that's at the very top of the pyramid. Everything else has to come first. 7 days ago, most of us in this space were living right about here, right? And in the last 7 days, we're kind of all living right about here. 99% of us are probably living and looking to ensure that our needs for safety, security, physiology are all being attended to. So if you're somebody who is feeling very afraid right now, feeling very scared or threatened, there's a really good reason for that. On a primal level, you are being triggered to understand that, oh my goodness, some of your basic foundational human needs might not be met. Now, that's not necessarily true. It's the fear that they might be true. You know, when we listen to a 24-hour news cycle that's like, you better get to the grocery store and get toilet paper, and you better stock up for 3 months because who knows what's going to happen. That trigger, even if that's not true, our subconscious mind sweeps the environment, finds CNN, decides this is true, this warning of danger coming at us, and triggers us on a foundational level. That is why you're feeling so afraid right now, because it feels like those basic needs for safety, security, food, shelter, water, it feels like they might not be met. This is where we get into the real beautiful complexity of how our mind is designed. That's happening at a subconscious level. You can't turn that off. That is a part of it's a part of your system. It's a part of your programming. What you can do is consciously engage this other part of your brain that can challenge those subconscious beliefs. Our subconscious will always look to confirm what it believes to be true, because our brain also hates change. It hates change. It always wants to take the path of least resistance. So it's going to keep looking for what it believes to be true. So if the media or your friends or your father-in-law, whomever, is triggering you right now to being like, oh my God, the world is falling apart, it's all ending, we're dead, that is what your subconscious is perceiving to be true. If you already have even a little inkling of fear of that to be true, you're getting further confirmation. And because your brain wants it to even more be true, you're going to keep seeing only those things in your environment that do confirm that to be true. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you want to stop feeling like that, if you want to shift out of perpetual fear mode, you have to consciously engage the other part of your brain that says, hang on a second. Let's just pause. It's like the wise older sister, right? It's like, just a second. What is the story I'm telling myself here? And is that story true? So, the story I'm telling myself might be like, oh my gosh, the economy is falling apart. I'm not gonna be able to pay my mortgage. I'm not gonna be able to pay my rent. I'm losing my job. My family's not gonna be, I'm definitely gonna be destitute and homeless. Okay, so that's the story I'm telling myself. Is that story true? Well, we can start to look for all the reasons why that is not true. We can start to look at the fact that there is tons of money in the world. Tons. Like, there is so much money in the world. Even if it's not currently in your bank account, it exists. There is so much wealth. There actually is enough. So one, this is probably not true because there is just so much money out there, right? Two, hang on a second, we do live in communities. You probably know somebody else who can help support you. We can share food, we can do all these things. You can start to look for these conscious examples, these real life proofs that what you're afraid of isn't necessarily true. It's just a trigger and a story of something somewhere deep down wants to believe that you don't have to believe if it's not serving you. That's a really big difference. If it's not serving you, we need to find a way of letting that go. This also, when I said at the beginning that our feelings are just feedback, and anytime we have a feeling, it gives us very valuable, insightful information as to what still needs to be healed and what needs our attention. If you are somebody who's feeling a lot of fear right now, pay attention to what it's telling you. What is the root of that fear? If you haven't watched my video on the Vine story, go back and watch it. You know, our feelings present stuff all out here, but they each have this root that traces back to one starting point. And when you can trace those fears back to what it is you're actually afraid of, that's when you can start to get real healing. So what's a great example for this, for what we're in right now? If you are, people are afraid of being away from their family, start to look at what that fear is telling you. Is it actually triggering guilt? Is it actually triggering a loss of control? Is it actually triggering, we moved away from my parents and I didn't actually want to do it, and now all this guilt and resentment is coming up? That's very likely, but it's just manifesting as, oh my God, I'm in total panic mode because of coronavirus. You have to be, well, you don't have to be. That's the thing. This is always your choice. It's always your choice. From where I stand, if you are here in this space with me, chances are you are looking to feel differently. You are looking to feel permission to just be who you are and feel how you want to feel. You're looking to come home to yourself. So from that place, all you have to do is really get very clear on what your feelings are telling you. Stare that fear in the face. Personify it. There's so many mindset hacks that you can use here to make this an easier exercise. Maybe you personify your fear as, I don't know, a bad guy. Are you into superhero movies? Make it like Joker, the other bad guy from another superhero movie, because I'm not apparently as into them as I thought. And then imagine that you are like Batman here, and you're going to go and confront that fear, and you have all the tools and all the superpowers you need to confront it. Imagine your fear is just a dark, shadowy space living under a bed. All you have to do is bring a flashlight and bravely turn on that light and look at your fear, and suddenly it's not so scary anymore. The hardest part is just getting to the point of being ready to confront it. It might be intense. You might cry. It might make you feel unsettled, but I promise you that experience is always worth it, because you get to the other side of it and you're like, oh my gosh, I did it. And what do you know? It wasn't so scary after all. You're allowed to be afraid. You're allowed to feel fear. There is so much unknown and uncertainty happening right now, and we're living in this constantly engaged social media, news media. It's all happening, right? And we're living in social distancing, so we're kind of further away from our day-to-day reality. Take a deep breath. Come back to your center. Figure out what your feelings are telling you and trace them back to your root, or to their root. Ask, what is the story I'm telling myself, and is that story true? Figure out where on that pyramid of human needs, what are your feelings telling you? What is your fear telling you? And can you start to understand the practicality of what that fear is telling you? Most of all, big ask. Can you love yourself enough to start making those conscious changes to shift out of fear and back into love? Yes, you fucking can. Can you love yourself enough to start consciously consuming content around you so it's not just a big flood and a big algorithmic shift of what you should read next? Yes, you fucking can. Can you love yourself enough to look at that fear and appreciate it, thank it for what it's telling you, and embed that into your experience while having the courage to rise up above it? Yes, you fucking can. Can you love yourself enough to find the helpers? Can you love yourself enough to be a helper? Can you love yourself enough to find joy in your everyday life and help share that joy with other people? Yes, you fucking can. That is emotional alchemy, and I'm so happy you're here to share that with me today. If you want to go deeper on this, with this, if you want to explore this further with me one-on-one, send me a message and we can book a quick call. Hope you're having a great day.